Hello guys, Lid here. So this is Season 3 refill recap. I will cover all the changes and rework, and yes, there is a lot of changes and rework on Season 3. And for the class and balance changes, I will only cover minions since that's the only archetype that I play, that the only archetype that I know about. And for the tone, I'm sorry if this is not super positive because I still have the PTSD from 0.2. So I just decided to approach the game as what it is with low expectations, so I'm not getting disappointed too much. 0.2 is the shortest league that I ever played in all PoE since PoE 1. So I think it's a lot healthier to just approach the game as what it is. And this game is also still on the early stage, so it's probably going to be a lot of rough edges. So now let's begin with the recap. Number 1 is the Act 4. We got a new Act 4, and this is on the Kari Islands. This is non-linear act, so you can go around and do whatever order you want. And for the Act 5 and 6, since they cannot finish it in time, so we're going to get 3 interlude act, which means we're not going to do cruel difficulty anymore. So after the Act 4 and 3 interlude, we're going to get into the end game. And the next one is they're adding sprinting into the game. I think by holding the dodge roll button, you will be able to sprint, and this is going to solve a lot of the mobility issue. And because the map in PoE 2 is also very big, sprinting will help a lot with this. And the next one is the big reworks on the system of PoE 2, which is support gems. The number 1 is the support gem no longer have the limit that you can only use it once. So that limitation is now basically gone. On the skill side, now you can only equip 1. If I remember correctly, when I read the patch note, you cannot have 2 of the same skill gem anymore. So I guess that is the downside. And they also add a lot more support gems. It's not just a new support gem, but also like, for example, like brutality. Now they have brutality 1, 2, and 3, and something like that. The idea, I think, they just want to smooth out the progressions, so it doesn't feel like too long of the spaces where you can get upgrade or anything like that. And I think that's a good thing. And they also add a new line 8 support gems for PoE 1 player. I think that's Awaken Gems. And for the non-PoE player, this is basically like a endgame support gems. You can get them from bosses and all that stuff. It looks powerful, and they do say that some will be not so rare, and some of them will be very rare. So, and the next one will be a very happy news. They reduced the attribute requirement from all the board 25%. This is a really good news because I hate this. Because I hate the attribute requirement. For me, it's way too high. I need to take a lot of attribute from the tree. I need to put attribute on my gear. I need to put attribute on my rune. Like, there's a lot of attribute requirement on the game right now, and that's a very annoying limitations, at least in my opinion. So this one is a good news. And the next one, also another big one, which is a new trade system. This is asynchronous trade system, meaning you don't have the other party need to be ready. So what happens right now when you want to buy someone else's items, you will teleported to the hideout, and you can take the item and it will take whatever currency that it need. So you do not need the other persons to be there. And I think this is a way better system than what it is right now. PoE and PoE 2 have a very big problem with the trade where you just PM a lot of people and nobody replies to you, so you just talk into the void, and you just have to go through all of that troubles, and maybe some of them will reply and you can get your items, and that's just straight up annoying. In PoE 1, the problem is not so bad, but it's still a big problem. On PoE 2 is a lot more problematic because the upgrading your gear, you rely a lot on trade side. So the new system will solve these problems, and I'm really happy with the new trade systems. And the next one, there will be a new exceptional items. And this is basically the item can have 20 to 30% quality, so you're going to have higher weapon damage. And it also can have additional socket. And the next one is the map mod reworks. So the map modifier now basically function like PoE 1, where it can give you pack size, rarity, and quantity, and it still gives you chance to find waystone and all that stuff. And this, I think, will make the map more juicy. You will probably get more loot if they're not changing anything about the drop. So this thing, I think, is a good one. Although the number is not too crazy, but I think it's still a good change. And the next one, let's talk about the crafting, because they introduced quite a lot of things on the crafting side. And Essence now have multiple tier. I think that's lesser, greater, and perfect. The lesser and greater will act like a regal, so that when you use it on an items, it will make it rare, and it will add the essence modifier to the items. But for the perfect essences, it will act like a chaos orb. So when you use it on the items, it will remove one modifier and it will add the essence modifier into the items. And they also add a new currency, for example, like greater transmute, greater exalt, greater chaos, greater augmentations. And that item basically gives you more chance to get higher affixes. They also add Hinokura Lock, and this item, when you use it on the items, you can see the future. Basically, when you use the Hinokura Lock on the items and then you want to fall it, when you hover the half fall over the items, you can see what the result you're going to get. And the same thing with any other currency that you want to apply. So Hinokura Lock is a very expensive currency on PoE 1. I assume it's still going to be very expensive on PoE 2 because it's going to be very rare. But it's really, really strong for crafting. And there's also a new omens. One of them that I really like is the omen that when you use Chaos Orb on Waystone, it will randomize the items. Because right now on 0.2, the last time I played 0.2, is when you have a Waystone that have a modifier you do not like to run, there's nothing you can do about it. For me, I just sold it to the vendor. So now you can use the omen and you can reroll the maps again. But that's also depending on like how rare the omens is and how expensive it will be. If it's too expensive, you might as well just get another Waystone. So I really hope the omen is not rare, because this omen going to be get used a lot, so it need to be pretty common to get. And the next mechanic is coming from the leak mechanic, which is Abyss. There is an item that you can get from the Abyss where you can apply to the items. It will add a seal modifier to your items. And seal modifier for PoE 1 player, this is basically a fail modifier. This is basically a modifier that you need to unlock before you can use it. So the way you unlock it is through the leak mechanic. And there is a bunch of modifier that's specifically exclusive to this one, and it's usually pretty good. Based on PoE 1, the fail modifier is pretty good and it's unique basically. And the next one is the minion changes. So let's get into the minion. The first one is the Spectre. Now the Spectre is deal more damage. And the problem with Spectre is we don't really have that much good Spectre. So with the new league, we will have a lot more new monster, and hopefully we get something new and good for the Spectre. The other changes for the Spectre is the quality, but this one not only for Spectre, it's also for Skeleton Mage and Skeleton Archer, where the quality before is to reduce reservations, now all of them will be changed into increased damage. Another thing for the Spectre is the spirit cost for the Spectre. They adjust the cost. So what it said here is if it's expensive, now it's generally cheaper, and some of the cheaper Spectre now more costly. Now this is very fake because we do not really have the number. The big one, for example, like 80, 90, 10 spirit, most of them is pretty useless. None of them will worth 80, 90, 100 spirit. The questions is, what happens to like the medium cost, like 30 to 50 spirit, because that is the range of the spirit that are kind of viable and usable for the Spectre. Even with that, there's only one Spectre on the 0.2 that are really good, which is Valguard. Everything else is kind of like meh. There's probably a few of them that kind of like, okay, this is kind of good, but it's not super great. A lot of them is kind of mediocre, and like the rest of them is just pretty much useless because the spirit cost is way too expensive, or the Spectre is just straight up bad. This can be a nerf or a buff, depending on what they do with the costly, and the language used here is very fake. So we're probably going to get some answer from the data mine, or maybe we just find it out when it's live. And for the Skeleton Mage, they changed the skill for some reason. I think the Skeleton Mage skill is really good. I don't know why they changed it into Cold Armor. And the Cold Armor basically gives your minion more armor, and when it gets hit, it will deal cold damage basically. And it can be exploded by the Brute Skeleton. I think they encourage you to bring a Brute Skeleton. The problem with Brute Skeleton is not necessarily about the minion itself. I mean, the minion is horrible. It's really expensive to summon, and it doesn't really do a lot of things. I mean, it's not even that tanky. It doesn't really deal that much damage. Biggest problem from Brute Skeleton is it going to block another minions, which they do not mention anything about minion blocking. So I don't have any idea if that already been fixed or not. I mean, based on 0.2, the blocking is not that bad, but it's still there. So I don't know if anyone will bring the Brute Skeleton. Maybe I'm wrong. But the last time I tried Brute Skeletons, it just make everything worse. Like the minion just starting blocking each other's because Brute Skeleton is big. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be enough for people to use Brute Skeletons, because the minion itself is really not that useful, despite the cost is really expensive. And the next one is a good one, which is Cleric. The quality now changed into the revived skeleton are immune to damage from 0 to 3 depending on the quality. And this is really good because previously it gave the cleric more life, which is good, but this one is better. And the next one is Skeleton Arsonist. The skill that basically explode a minion now become attack damage, and it nerf from 12% maximum life to 8% maximum life. The Arsonist skill is explode your own minion, and when the minion explode, it will deal damage based on their maximum HP, and that part getting nerfed from 12% to 8%, but it does change the type from spell to attack. So I'm not really sure if this is a nerf, because I think it's a lot easier to scale your attack damage because Arson itself is an attack minion. So it probably going to get compensated by the changing of the tag. So maybe the 4% base maximum life gone is not really going to be felt, but we will have to see when it live, is it going to be problematic or not. And as far as I know, this skill only used in leveling, basically using some Raging Spirit and Skeleton Arsonist, so you explode the Raging Spirit, and that's basically what you do to level the minions. As for the Raging Spirit, I do not see any changes on the Raging Spirit, so I think that's still horrible, and it's still going to make the minion early life horrible, I guess. I don't know. I really don't understand why Raging Spirit need to be that, but it is what it is. There's no change to Raging Spirit. And the next one is Sniper Gas Arrow. And this one get reduced on the cooldown from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. And the damage get buffed from 70% to 80%. So this one is a buff. Sniper Gas is also pretty good early game. So you can use it to level or something like that. I think I used this on the 0.2. So that's all I have for you today. And as usual, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it. And I will play PoE 2 when it's launched. And I will probably prepare when it gets close to it. But for now, I think I will just blasting Last Epoch. It will launch this day, today, when I make this video. And there's a few builds I want to try. They add a bunch of new stuff, so I want to try that one too. And I will do some testing on the PoE 2, and then, we'll start PoE 2 as normal. And I will just go in as what it is. I do not want to think too much about the game. So thank you everyone for watching. Really, really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.